Let's get that AR on your screen and see what MVP can do now from the blue side, and they're going to ban the Shen. Don't worry, guys. Motive has left. You're okay.
But
you don't need to
Lehens
ban
is
it.
still in, so they want to respect the Shen.
I know, I was being silly. Shen going to be taken away, Griffin. Aatrox is going to come out first off, but what do they change? What is going to be... Oh, no. For the first time, I'm wrong. Talia banned first.
True. Aatrox left open so far.
Yeah, he's probably going to be banned second, isn't he? Is
Or
MVP going
is
to ban
he?
Vipers Vladimir?
And they get a Aatrox ban out of MVP, is what Griffin is thinking about, but they're not going to play with their food too much.
Yeah.
They will ban it second just to alter the spot in which he's banned.
Find it interesting that he moves to second place instead, but maybe wanting to give Yondu all of the respect because his Talia was pretty damn good.
Do you just ban Trundle for the they're really good at these champions bans on the side of MVP? I imagine Yondu could first pick the Trundle if he wanted, but unfortunately, results-wise, he is 0-5 on Trundle.
Yeah, he doesn't have a lot of great win rates, but that's one of the extra bad ones. That is very true. And as far as Trundle for Tarzan is concerned, you don't get a much better win rate than that.
I think Griffin just looks at these bans and says, I guess Ezreal time. So we'll see if Viper will show us. I want to see Viper on a different marksman. That's what I would like to see. Maybe the Kai'Sa in a duo lane. I want to see him on a losing matchup. I want more data points about Viper on the marksman. Maybe we'll be granted that in this game. First pick here could be the Sejuani.
Could be Zoe again for Ian. He has had some decent performances.
That's true.
We'll be following the same script that Griffin did in game number 1, taking away the Zoe.
Chovy
What does
could
Chovy
just
have for answers?
Orianna into it in the first round here. It could also be an Orianna flex pick. He's played Galio before, could go there.
A few different options. Could play the LeBlanc, which is considered a pretty damn good matchup, into the Zoe as well. A lot of different things that he can head towards.
I'd like first round Orianna and the potential of the flex to bot lane, but the Yasuo is a flex pick for the side of Griffin.
Yeah, I like the Yasuo into the Zoe matchup as well.
Don't know for sure that's what's going to be, as Orianna
Yasuo,
Yasuo
right? Yeah.
was that duo they were doing. That would pigeonhole them a bit more, but they're going to actually extend the hover, just take a jungler here and take away Yondu's precious, the Sejuani.
Yeah, bit of a problem there for Yondu. Definitely his best performing jungler so far, but he could take the other side of the matchup. He could pick up the Zac if he wants to in this game. Could just run back the entire Griffin composition, just pick up the Zac and the Alistar, but looks like the Gragas is going to be considered, at least for a moment, and would be very flexible for MVP.
Goes in 3 different roles, but recently it's been mostly support. We'll wait and see what's happening there. It's also something that combos really well with the Yasuo, wherever the Yasuo is going. So in terms of denial, feels pretty good to remove the Gragas from the side of Griffin.
I'd love to see Yondu on the Gragas. His Gragas did look definitely the best, especially in his first game of the season on the champion. Rakan was left available in MVP. They can pick it up here. It's not ideal timing because you'd like to get the Xayah along with it. But I think that Max just wants to be on a champion that he can have all of the initiation priority on, and Rakan certainly fits that bill.
See what Griffin want to do about the final pick on red side. They haven't pigeonholed themselves into anything yet in the draft. They'd like some knockups so that Yasuo has some synergy, and they may have drafted their complete bot lane. We're not to know. They have the Yasuo and Alistar on the red side. Usually you'd see some coverage bans if you wanted to run this in the duo lane, as there's annoying picks that can really take away your fun, like the Soraka support, for example, and the Vladimir at the start of the season.
And now will Griffin just ban away something like Xayah Ashe or something like that from MVP? Understanding that Pilot will wanting to be playing an awesome dude. Looks like it's going to be the Varus over the Ashe. They did ban Ashe in game number 1, which is why it was the first one that I thought of. Xayah feels like a bit of a no-brainer, but we'll see what happens here. They might just let it go through and pick themselves up something on the bottom side. Galio to be banned away here by MVP.
They seem to think it'll be the bot lane Yasuo, a 3rd game in a row from the times that Griffin have played it, twice against Gen G. Both of them are losses. Viper, the man on your screen, was playing it that day. Definitely don't have to be married to that idea. Chovy has some excellent mechanics, as we well know, on the Yasuo.
And also, it's a decent matchup into the Zoe. I wouldn't understand why you wouldn't just throw that one into the mid lane. Xayah, the understandable final ban here by Griffin to take away the Lovers duo. Now, MVP, do you just ban Orianna? Get rid of that one? Because then that would be further flex if they were to lock that one in.
Could ban a Gnar, I guess, because Sword is very likely to take that one. We're not expecting there to be a top lane Yasuo. There's been none this season so far. Well, let's see what MVP do ban away.
3 seconds to go before that final ban has to be locked in. They take the entire time, and Mundo going to be the final choice against Sword. Does like his tanks, but feels like Cho'Gath is the more likely option if you're just going to go for a plug-and-play top lane tank.
I'd love to see
Wow.
Viper on the duo lane Kai'Sa. That's what this would be indicating. Alistair Kai'Sa, not the strongest lane on paper, but man, can it pop off in team fights.
I also love it if you're going to run a Yasuo in the mid lane.
Is that on purpose?
Uh-oh. Okay.
Uh-huh. Well, that's usually a problem. That's usually a big mistake.
Is this another classic Korean pickup of the Teemo accidentally? Would this be the third time? Is this the third or fourth time?
Shy and Someday in the same season this happened. Had to play top lane Teemo. That's where the Teemo went, as there is a Teemo.
There is a Teemo. There is a Teemo. That is a Teemo. He's like, oh, Kai'Sa, really good champion, but wait, what's even better if you build AP? It's probably not Teemo, Viper, to be honest. Is ADD looking for a blind pick top lane? The Cho'Gath, like we were talking about before, is an option. Singed would be fun. ADD teaching Max how to play it. He's just hovering it just to let us know that, yes, I feed it. I fed on this champion a lot. I'm not going to pick it. It's going to be the Cho'Gath for ADD topside.
Well, it seems like we're going through the draft, so the Teemo is sticking on the side of Griffin.
Yeah.
Unsure where the Teemo is going. Everyone seems generally hyped in the audience. They'll see a Teemo.
I feel like it will be on the bottom side. I feel like it'll be Viper's Teemo. I feel like Viper was making a decision for himself and said, look, the power of this lane is undeniable, and I will pick the Teemo.
Alistair Teemo doesn't strike me as a combo lane that really makes too much sense, but sure.
Yeah, well, it happened. I don't know. I wonder what the build's going to be. Nashor's Tooth into maybe a Hurricane. Let's do some AoE Teemo damage.
Stormrazor, baby.
Yeah, Stormrazor Teemo. Stormrazor Rapid Fire Cannon Infinity Edge. He just builds it like a really terrible version of Caitlyn or something with lower range. All right, well, that's Teemo, ladies and gentlemen. We're making fun of it. Maybe Griffin have a plan. Is this another one of their ridiculous thoughts? I'm looking over. I can see the Korean cast, Custer Jun, going completely ballistic, just laughing his head off alongside with our Cloud Templar as well, a bit head in hands at the moment. So no one really understanding why the Teemo was picked, but here it is. And we're going to be getting into game with the Teemo. Pop Smithy?
I don't want to talk anymore. I don't really have anything to say about the Teemo. It seems bad in the composition, but, you know, Viper's pretty good at league. We had a Teemo fighting from the crowd. Well, there he is.
Yep, he is in the game. Can confirm, Teemo is here. He's got himself Summoner Airy, just to be incredibly annoying. Often you see Ignite if you're in solo queue. Often you don't see Teemo if you're anywhere where, you know, things are good.
Little known fact, I became a caster to get away from Teemo because if you play the game, you have to deal with Teemo. If you don't play the game and cast it, very rarely have to deal with Teemo.
Yeah, unless it's the TSM versus Mineski game. Or a few of the accidental Teemos that we've had here in Korea. See what Griffin can actually do. If this is a thing that works and we start seeing more Teemo, I'm gonna lose my mind. And the last LCK match with Teemo was Someday. It was the Someday loss where they accidentally picked Teemo. It wasn't supposed to be Teemo, but it was Teemo, and he got dumpstered, I believe.
So you guys know, the problem that happened was that CJ hovered the Teemo and then it got locked in, so Shy had to play it. And then Katie thought it was so funny that they also hovered it, and it got locked in and they had to play it. So just the fact that it was Someday, the player who has not been in Korea for the 4 splits now, lets you know that it was quite a while ago.
Twas. All right, well, they are currently doing pretty well.
It may have been a first ever duo lane Teemo also in Korea, ever.
Yeah.
In fact, it probably is.
Have you seen a duo lane Teemo in competitive play in any other region either, Papa Smithy? I've never...
I watch a lot of League of Legends and know now that you mention it.
Yeah, I haven't seen this one. This is a new thing. I've been playing a lot of top lane recently, so I'm actually incredibly upset. At the moment,
So let's talk about what Teemo provides. He provides a lot of rage from most people that are watching the game.
Yeah, a blind, which is good into an auto-attacking champion. Pilot not necessarily on the quintessential auto-attacker, but good Ezreals will be auto-attacking, weaving in their Mystic shots.
Map control around the Baron and the Drake. You can definitely set up there in some interesting ways. I don't really see the combo potential with the Alistar, as Headbutt Pulverize into auto attack and Q is a trade, I guess.
Headbutt Pulverize into Mushroom auto attack and blind.
I think the arm time is pretty quick, so you could probably actually pull that off.
Yeah, now that you can throw him. You've got a bit of decent range on him now. The old Teemo Shrooms.
And you know what? Now teams that play Griffin in the future, if they win with this, have to think about what if Teemo.
And I have to now think of Teemo ability names, which is making me very upset.
By the way, do not play Korean solo queue tonight.
Well, don't even worry about it, Papa. People play too much damn Teemo that I'm banning him anyway.
All right, well, that's a good choice for a ban. Guys, if you're going into Korean solo queue, definitely, safety first, just ban the Teemo.
Yeah. In fact, if you're going into any solo queue, just ban Teemo. You'll just have a better time. It feels better to be beaten by a Darius. I can say that right now. It feels better to be beaten by a Darius than it is to be beaten by a Teemo.
Teemo not the strongest range, so he's going to have to definitely be careful about when he walks up, when the Rakan is definitely going to be in grand entrance range for the majority of Teemo's play.
Has the stopwatch, as he's gone into Inspiration second, understandably. See whether it will be just straight AP. Seen a few different things, sort of, when you're looking at what Teemos want to build. Nashor's Tooth is a good one, but you can just see Leandri's come out straight away, just because it does work so well with your Shrooms.
What is your laning item, I wonder? If you're going for, I imagine, an on-hit build, a Nashor's Tooth kind of build, but I'm not sure. It's top side.
Yep, Tarzan's actually looking for this one as EDD is going to use the flash. Oh, that Rupture was god tier. And he's just going to saunter his way out. No worries there at all. Does have the flash now on cooldown.
You couldn't have played that any better, really. If you're ADD, should have died 9 out of 10 times. That was the 1 out of 10. AD says, well, my mechanic's still in, guys, and gets away.
What the heck did they have in that hospital pub, Smithy? I want to go and have some of that hospital food.
Apparently a laptop for League of Legends, baby.
And he's only played one League of Legends game on his main account as well. He's been smurfing there the whole time. He went into a hyperbolic ADD time chamber. Is that what it was? Teleport's going to come in as ADD. Is this what he learned when he was in the hyperbolic time
He learned to help out his jungler.
Yeah.
Maybe it was a League of Legends hospital.
Damn. It's Christmas. Santa Gragas here. We've got Teemo on the other side of the map. We're getting very festive. As our Sword's going to continue pushing this one up. ADD certainly did have the ability to get up there because his wave was shoved all the way to the turret. Sword's going to have an opportunity to pick up a bit of a CS advantage, but the Cho'Gath straight up doesn't care about that. He's a big dinosaur. And he's now going to have Yondu moving up here towards the top as well. Slow is going to come in onto Sword, but a little bit early for any potential actual gank. Just going to buy some space here.
Also, Sword in the shenanigans hit level 6, so perhaps not the time to make a play as bot side.
Viper going to be tanking up the turret as Tarzan. Lots of damage. Headbutt Pulv. Max is definitely dead. Can they juggle the aggro, though? As Viper, he's going to help pick up the second kill. Almost dies to the turret, but he survives. And Griffin, double kill bottom lane.
Double kill in the Teemo lane. No kills to Teemo.
Can we call
no
it the bottom
problem.
lane? Can we call it, please, Papa Smithy?
Well, we just don't know where the team is going in terms of build. However, those 2 kills come against double teleport and the death time is being short. So, not going to be a turret going down. Remember, guys, 8-13. Before level 8, the death time is much shorter. We didn't start the game with a full zoom on the team, and that was actually a mistake by our observers. But this is just auto attack into Q, proccing the summoner Airy. They probably hoped that Max would tick down to the Teemo damage to give him a kill. He doesn't. They get the double kill onto the jungler, and now Tarzan's going to be damn tanky.
He is. Okay. And also, Lehens once again starts the game with a lot of kill participation. Is in fact participating in 100% of them thus far, as we're just going to see Teemo bouncing down the lane. Observer, come on. What are you doing? What? Do you know what this feels like? It feels like that banned Pokemon episode that, like... the one that gave like an epileptic fit to like thousands of Japanese people. I feel like zooming in on Teemo has the potential to be that dangerous.
It will definitely trigger thousands of people.
Exactly.
Viper's going for, I imagine, Luden's first, because he has the Lost Chapter. I guess you could go GLP, but to me, Luden's and the annoyance of stepping on a Luden's shroom.
Yep, Luden's does make a lot of sense. Is Yondu spotted by a ward. And Ian going to be playing defensively. Yondu actually really likes this ward. He's going to continue wandering over the top of it. Griffin back down towards the bottom side as Viper just going to be frustrating.
Still Teemo. We need an interview with Griffin so they can ask the obvious question of, was it a mistake?
I guess this is another champion that is a combination of auto-attacking marksman and mage. I know.
I'm not going to entertain you with a response.
Fair enough. Well, he's going 1v2 now and destroying Max with that poison damage.
Level 6, one shroom now on one of the gank paths here. They spot Yondu, who's going to be around the area.
Yep, the poke build coming in, of course, when you're going AP, it's the blinding dart. Max into get your shrooms in there. You're going to do a lot of burst damage.
Shroom placement, always a fun thing to look at.
Yeah, it does add extra vision here if we're talking about actual honest-to-goodness advantages Teemo gives you.
Again, and control around objectives, Baron and Infernal. You're very happy to get an Infernal first spawn if you have a Teemo bot side, because he can make it so the enemy jungler has all those rakes to step on and hit him in the face.
Yeah.
Sideshow Bob understands. Get brush control as well. It's very unlikely for Teemo Alistar to get lane control, but after the turret dive, they have pretty extensive lane control here. They can put down deep shrooms. Usually, Teemo will be outranged, and even the support is going to have a more threat than Alistar most of the time, because Alistar only has one direction in a team fight, and the Rakan can go in and out. Yondu's here to try to punish the short range of Griffin.
They are going to hear that the Dragon is going to go down relatively soon, understanding that they have to deal with the Sejuani being in relatively close proximity. Chovy's moving down though. No, he's not. Actually, there's the Flash Grand Entrance. The quickness comes down as well, and Viper goes into stopwatch, but he's most likely still going to die. He is. As Tarzan gets out of the way of a trouble bubble, and Ian, he ain't done yet as Lahen's. He's level 6. He does have the ultimate, but he's going to use the Flash in order to get his way out from MVP. 4 members bottom lane. The Teemo Global Taunt in great effect.
1 CC hits, and Lahen's will die even with his ultimate. Smart to flash first and have his ultimate for the laning phase. Viper goes down. The moment he got bounced in, he wastes the stopwatch. Shouldn't have done that.
Wastes the Flash as well to get out. So also a little bit of a problem as Lahen's taking a bunch of damage here. Tarzan going to pick up the minion wave, and Chovy getting some spare time in the mid lane is what Griffin are going to be able to pick up after that. But a good kill going over to MVP. They'll keep it to a 400 gold game. Let's have a look at this.
Yondu was out of vision the entire time, and then Max makes the engage. That's what we're talking about. Teemo's auto attack range is very short, so should always be in range of Grand Entrance or Flash ult as a Rakan. Flash ult can only happen so many times, but he goes down. Viper's going to clear out some wards. One thing we can talk about with Griffin's Club away from the Teemo is that we're very likely to reach a point where Sword and Chovy can hit the side lane, and there won't be 2 opponents on the side of MVP that can match them. So 1-3-1 is actually surprisingly really powerful for Griffin, because the top and the bot side is going to be a Yasuo and an R, and then Teemo can shroom around all the flank entrances for coming in for a fight, and thus the Teemo will be relatively safe in the 3 as well. That's a little thing. So 1-3-1, when that's enacted, and if it's an even gold game or better, should be actually very oppressive from the Griffin side.
Right now, Griffin are just trying to fight for some control here on the bottom side of the map. Blinding darts continually being thrown onto Max just to stop his engage potential from being too dangerous. You're going to be jumping in, of course. Being low on health is something that's good for the team that's going to get engaged on, as Max now down to half health. Tarzan going to look for the ultimate. Oh, finds it after the arcane shift, but doesn't get it after the flash. But that is still the flash now on cooldown for Pilot.
And some summoners now, no flash for MVP on the bot side, as Max used his before. Sword is still going to continue building for lane and being happy against the Cho'Gath. Chovy in the mid lane, very competitive against the Yasuo, sorry, against the Zoe. Went Hex Drinker and going to go work into a Phantom Dancer, so slow down his build. Showing a bit of respect there as Sejuani wasn't coming.
Yeah, a few different options for the Yasuo here in this lane. A lot of them just like to build for the Sterix a little bit earlier, but I do like having the Hex Drinker, despite the fact that the cooldown reduction on the more of Malmortius makes you feel a little bit silly, but more Wind Walls is good.
And everything that isn't the Teemo really interacts well with Chovy in a team fight. He actually has a lot of setup for the last breath, whether it's the Gnar ultimate or Alistar Headbutt Pulverize. They're the 2 reliable ways to set up a fight. So, once again, game plan here for Griffin. Hit the 1-3-1 at your right item timings, and then so many reliable ways to set up the last breath means that this could be a game that's hard carried by the Yasuo.
Yeah, and at the moment, things looking pretty good for Sword as well on the top side of the map. Looks like he's going to be building towards his Wit's End as the first item. His ADD is going to be largely magic damage. Yondu, considering a gank here on the bottom side, but he's going to be thwarted and discovered. Ian's going to turn up as well. Able to stay out of vision relatively easily, but Viper now just littering the area with these Easter eggs. And it's going to mean that MVP do not want to risk it. You stand on a shroom at the wrong time here in this lane if you're going for a dive, and you could just look really, really dumb.
Especially if a counter gank comes through as you're slowed and taking a bit of that ticking damage, Atlas. So
yeah.
They actually had deep control wards, did Tarzan. He was going to be able to be there eventually, and MVP had incomplete information. So smart of them to not look for that, but I understand the play. Already tonight, so many teams. Ezreal bot lane, come around, end the laning phase, and then rotate the Ezreal around to get the outer ring. That is the standard playbook with the Ezreal, and it's something they'd like to implement, but for now, going to be slowed down a bit.
The thing that I do like, I guess, about having the Teemo in this game as well is that you can wave clear from a very long way by just littering the lane with shrooms. So as the minion wave moves up, they all die to the mushrooms as they get towards turrets. So you can get a lot of extra lane control with a Teemo if you can at least get the setup on the map with the little rodent.
I do like that you use the term littering, though, because that's what I think of. Well, I think of it in the...
The littering's already happened by Griffin, as Lehens will have to use the ultimate. Is going to survive, of course, but now Griffin without the opportunity of engaging with their Alistar, which is huge. This dive certainly a possibility now as Yondu once again going to move over and try and get himself in position for it. Not a lot of on-demand wave clear here as Viper, little scout is going to use his extra movement speed with the W to try and get up the lane. And Griffin back down here, but Ian does land the trouble bubble onto the Sejuani. MVP still don't want to fight for it.
They got quite a lot of time. You'll notice not a lot of turret damage being done. Usually these plays from MVP are set plays when the turret's low, but the turret's not actually that low, Atlas. So it's actually wasting a lot of time from MVP. They're going to need a couple more visits. Yondu fishing.
Yeah, Flash once again going to come out of Lehens. Yondu's very squishy at the moment. Has gone for that Runic Echoes. There's the flash forward. The Arctic Assault is in. Immediately flashes to get out. A Pulverize comes in. A really nice ultimate from Tarzan as Max is going to just barely survive. Ian, over the side, doesn't land the trouble bubble as Sword and ADD still fighting on the top side. But man, that was close on the bottom of the map.
Griffin just waiting for their chances. Ian starts to chase, won't get the kill.
That was his actual flash.
Yeah. Not really sure about why he used his actual flash, but it certainly wasn't in...
I'm not sure why Griffin picked Teemo, but you know, these things happened, and they happened today. Sword trying to find the solo kill onto ADD. Now underneath the turret.
Again, the play from MVP is the right one, but the timing is wrong. They need more chip damage to actually set up for a 4-man dive. It's going to take too long. It's going to take 3 minion waves for them to take down the turret. And so much is going to happen on the map if Griffin doesn't come. And it's so much time for Griffin to think about things and then come later and set up for a fight. So they had so much time to communicate that MVP were never realistically going to get the turret. And this ends up being a bit muddied play by MVP.
Max doesn't have flash, remember, so this Rakan very squishy. Possible to take him down as Ian. He's going to stopwatch. That's going to buy space for Griffin, potentially. Decide not to go for it. Headbutt Pole was available, as well as the ult from Chovy, but Ian's going to walk away from this one.
Well, Teemo doing more damage in lane than the Ezreal.
Yep, he's just been spamming his Q onto Max over and over again. This is what we're talking about. You just chuck the shrooms down, and Teemo has a pretty easy time clearing out minion waves, and Luden's Echo, like you were saying, is going to be the pickup.
Arguably an easier time than the Ezreal.
Yeah.
Both of those champions criticized for having very little on-command wave clear, which is always a highly prized thing, solo lane or no.
Yep. True Shot Barrage, probably the closest thing to Ezreal's ability to do that. But, like you say, Viper now, with his Luden's Echo freshly done, will be much better when it comes to taking down these waves.
I want to draw your attention to the build from Sword. He went Phage, Boots 2 into the Null Magic Mantle Negatron Cloak. So he didn't rush into Wit's End first. The theory here is you want to get movement speed so you can sidestep the Rupture and any potential all-ins from ADD, rather than just focusing on, I do a lot of damage with my auto attacks. So I prefer this build because it still does what you want. You're still going to get a lot of harass onto AD, but by the time you finish the Wit's End, you have enough points in Hyper to really pay off what the Wit's End provides them.
Oh, Mountain Drake now being picked up here by MVP as Chovy's looking for Ian. Doesn't get the knock up as Windwall flies through as well. That's now on cooldown. It's Lehens. He's here. Spots 3 at the Drake. Can they do anything about this? Nope. Griffin just going to give that one up. Try and clear out some vision. And Shelly's also going to stay in her den as well. So 18 minutes. Now we'll need to start that Rift Herald ASAP if she is actually going to be utilized this game.
I wonder if Oblivion Orb is going to be the next pickup, as Sword is going to have to use some of the CC. If Oblivion Orb will be the next pickup from Viper, because then he'll have double Magic Pan. Pilot's gone Iceborne Gauntlet for comp. He's not against a Jace, which is usually where we see the Iceborne Gauntlet. He's against a Yasuo, so he's gone for the armor there. But double Magic Pan will be basically true damage on these auto Q trades from the Teemo in lane. And the Morellonomicon gets massive value against the Gragas and the Cho'Gath in particular. So I think Oblivion Orb would be a really nice pickup for the Teemo at this present point.
And the other thing that's really going well for Griffin when it comes to the Teemo pickup is that we're still in a laning phase. It's close to 20 minutes into the game. We haven't had a turret go down yet. We just had the Rift Herald taken. It's good news for Sword. He wants to be laning for as long as possible in his positive matchup. And Tarzan, he's been able to get around this map, do what he wants, and the Teemo sitting in that lane is happily just laning and laning and laning, shooting Max in the face with blinding darts, things like that. And MVP haven't been able to take down the turret with their regular marksman.
And it's even worse than that, Atlas, because they haven't been able to take down the turret with the regular marksman who has a range advantage and also multiple gank spot side as well, with a lot of jungle and mid laner time wasted. So it's even more of a pressing concern for MVP that they messed up some of their timings around the dive. First brick, solo, first turret, blood gold does go the way of Sword, who now is going to have plenty of items on his recall.
Yeah, Black Cleaver actually picked up as his first item. Wants to get all of that CDR, went from 0 to 20%. One fell swoop. That feels great as the Gnar.
And this game will go from 0 to 60 when Yasuo is also able to hit the side wave, and we get the 1-3-1 that clearly Griffin are building towards with the team comp they have.
Yep, Tarzan even able to take down another Rift Scuttler. Griffin have had complete jungle control as well this game, it feels like. Yondu, he's been focusing bottom side, yes, but otherwise the rest of the map has belonged to Griffin. They were able to take the Rift Herald without any contest at all, and we saw in all of our recent series that every time that damn thing gets started, there is a battle.
Something getting started is the Rift Herald in the mid lane. It's going to be most of the turret, and Sword walks down at the same time. Very nice map movement here from Griffin.
Perfect Gnar as well as he sidesteps. That one easily take down the second turret of the game on the bottom side. First brick went to the Gnar on his own. That was how he was able to afford Black Cleaver, of course, as Shelly's dealt with, but the map is in shambles, and Griffin still hold on to this bottom lane.
And MVP in some ways have been dealt with, Atlas, and the reason why I say that is it's a third game of Zoe and Ezreal today. Zoe Ezreal got a 3-turret to 0 lead in multiple series already, but now the sieging comp that wants to safely load up in a short lane and siege has no turrets. The comp against it that wants to go 1-3-1 has 2 turrets down already, and the game plan around hitting the mid lane with the Luden's Echo on the mid laner and also 2-item Ezreal, that time has already passed with a gold lead to Griffin and a turret lead to Griffin.
Yeah, it's getting really, really difficult to deal with, and it's only going to become more oppressive when, like you were talking about, the 1-3-1 that is so strong from Griffin becomes enacted, because then you need about 4 people in order to take down one in a side lane, and the rest of your map is going to disintegrate before your eyes.
And if you ever try to collapse and you just walk over 4 shrooms or your timings are off, there's so many ways you can control the river with the Teemo that actually collapsing on the 1 in the 1-3-1, whether it is top or bot, is going to be really an exercise in frustration for MVP.
Well, it's already an exercise in frustration for MVP, Papa, because there's a Teemo in this game.
Zoning exhaust there as Max wants to change summoners.
Yeah. Oh, man. Spellbook is like slightly less annoying Zoe when it comes to trying to work out why summoner spells are just being used for no reason on the map.
But of course, with the 1 to 10 being quite close to 10 with the Zoe, so it's still pretty damn annoying.
Yeah, that's very true. Although, she's not annoying at all this game. That award is going to go solely to Viper as, okay, we're going to have a last breath in the mid lane. It's a decent cast to make it a little bit of a problem, but that's a better ultimate to come out from Tarzan. And ADD, he's got the Righteous Glory, but He's just not going to be there in time.
Because he doesn't have priority in the top. Even though he's closer, he can't walk early. He always has to be waiting to see what the Gnar is going to do. By the time he's there, the kill already happens. I think Chovy is definitely the best Yasuo player on this team. Thought Viper was a bit too gung-ho and when to choose his last breaths, and that was pretty noticeable when we saw him playing it last series. So I see Chovy on it. Viper's walking up 1v2 because Tarzan is here.
Yep, Lehens is down here as well, but thankfully Battle Dance from Max is going to mean that he's very safe. And Viper going to continue being annoying. Tarzan just blocking to try and get more cooldown for these shrooms to come in. Viper wanting to litter this lane as much as possible. Yondu turns up, making this a 3 versus 3 is okay. Lehens going to be able to get a Battle Dance out of Max. Not exactly the hugest cooldown to trade for a headbutt pole. But testing the waters. 3.2 thousand gold in the lead. Griffin, they've got themselves the Infernal Drake. Cloud Drake going to be coming next. Earth, Wind, and Fire again.
Wit's End is turned on just as the Hyper is hit level 5. So ADT really would rather deal with this Mega Gnar, because Mini Gnar is very annoying. And in fact, I often think of Mini Gnar as another version of Teemo, and we also have Teemo on the same team.
Yeah.
Double Teemo.
Oh, God. That is not what you want.
No.
You never want
double Rainbows are great.
Yeah, never want a double Teemo, though. That just feels unfair. As Tarzan looking to steal away a red buff, which also feels unfair for Yondu, who's not really owned a jungle so far this game. She's going to reset. Brown back will walk back home. And that will mean that Gragas is probably able to take it. But you can see they're scared. They don't really want to move down here. Ezreal was in base, and Griffin just have control everywhere on this map. It's all been opened up, and you can see they wanted to get that global gold, but it's just not there. The bottom lane outer turret hasn't been touched since that first time, and now Griffin should be handed this dragon pretty close, pretty easily, and there might even be shrooms that deal with the minion wave moving towards the base as well. MVP are going to at least answer the dragon, so that wasn't free, but the rest of the control around this map certainly is.
Heartbreaking thing from the MVP side is it was one of those cases of right person, wrong time. I liked what they were doing around Bob, but the timing was off both times they did it, and then Griffin made the clutch plays, and now things like this are going to happen.
Yep, the ultimate's going to be used. Ian is able to get out of at least one CC with the cleanse, but he's straight up dead. Chovy, too much damage availability, and that's only with 2 items, not the Infinity Edge. This could go from bad to worse very fast for MVP.
A different game where they got that bot lane turret and had Ezreal in the mid lane to end this Yasuo's reign of dominance. Then maybe MVP win it, but in this game, 2 mid lane turrets to 0 for the damn Yasuo in the Zoe lane. Very long mid lane that no one is going to be able to patrol. Soon it's going to be filled with shrooms. And Griffin styling on the team of MVP. There may be a Teemo in this game, but Teemo has been the least influential character on the side of Griffin.
He's basically irrelevant. Tarzan's pretty much won this entire game
they could have had
Griffin so far.
They could have had a Criddle Sticks and the game would have gone the same.
Yeah, or a crit clock. Oh man, did you remember the really confusing thing about Crit Zillion was that he didn't have a crit animation. So you know how you used to be able to tell when you were going to get crit? You can't tell when it's a Zillion.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
There you go. Things I learned.
The reason he didn't have a crit animation is because you'd have to be pretty insane to build crit on a Zillion.
Hey man, Prey was halfway there. He was playing bot lane AD Zillion. So by AD I mean awesome dude. He wasn't actually building attack damage.
Yeah.
Gnar.
Okay, gonna get spotted here as he actually just wants to throw things at Max and Yondu. They're trying to get some control around this Baron, of course. MVP always do. 26.5 minutes into the game, haven't really seen much of the big purple guy for quite some time.
Oh, Leandries.
Oh, God, yeah. And double BF sword for Chovy as well.
Well, I don't really know what a 5v5 looks like that Chovy doesn't die instantly in, that MVP can win. And remember, their comp was the Siege dream of we go to a short lane, put down control wards, start lobbing down spikes, which are the Mystic Shot and the Paddle Star in this analogy, and then the enemy fails an all-in or just loses their turret in front of them. However, now there's so many long lanes for them to get flanked from, and also a significant gold lead the way of Griffin. That means the game plan is gone, and yeah, looking like a rough one for MVP.
Yeah, and think about what a game does to you after you win or you lose. You know, we talk about mentality a lot, we talk about psychology a lot. What happens when you lose to a Teemo? In competitive, like in the LCK 2018.
Oh, I was going to say you just get out of your chair, you close the League of Legends game, and you do something else. Which is probably what's going to happen at the end of this as well.
My recommendation would be get out of your chair, close the League of Legends game, and throw your computer out the window. But that might be the more extreme approach.
You're clearly getting paid more for this gig than I am, because I can't afford to do that every time I lose to a team.
I certainly can't afford it. I guarantee you that much. I love my computer. Would never throw it out the window. But Teemo does make you do pretty crazy things, as I'm sure all of you guys at home are aware of. Okay, Blade of the Ruin King completed here for Pilot, so he's hit about peak performance, 20 CS ahead of the Teemo at the moment, but both of them right on the clock when it comes to that one. Zhonya's Hourglass could be the next option here for Viper, as he's got a broken stopwatch sitting in his back pocket. The main thing we ought to talk about, though, is the fact that Chovy has got the Infinity Edge. He's 1-0-1, he's behind, he's ahead in farm by about 1 trillion. That's about 50 CS is going to be the lead.
There's definitely a meanwhile at sword situation going on as well, as he had just bought a straight up blade. So he also is something that the Cho'Gath can't itemize for. And look, it's a 1-3-1, going to be threatened.
And look at all of the shrooms that are flanking this Teemo, who's just bunkered down. We were talking about bunker compositions. This is looking like the bunker 3 of the 1-3-1.
The cool thing you can do as a Teemo comp in competitive is you know the enemy team's going to overload on sweepers, so hold the point.
Yep, there's the knock-up, and Yondu, he's going to have to flash. Does use the cast pretty nicely, but there's the follow-up ultimate to come in from Tarzan. Max is just going to get eaten alive. Chovy free hitting in the front line like a beast. And the Yasuo is going to be able to get them 2 kills, and Griffin look like they're moving towards Baron.
Never looked like getting any less than 2 kills, Atlas. A pentakill if there was a grouped enemy. Conqueror procs. He still has his flash. He still has his cleanse.
So much true damage now that the Infinity Edge is done as well. You mentioned the Conqueror to add on to it. And now the Baron has been started by Griffin. ADD, he wants to be near there. He does have teleport available. And of course, MVP want to try and fight for this. Ian has picked up a smite, which is very important. As Viper does avoid the trouble bubble, they're going to pull off it. They don't want to get in there and risk this smite being utilized.
Respecting the level 16 smite, Atlas, the biggest smite was available to the Zoe.
Yeah, I think it's intelligent that they pulled away.
There's always going to be a better spot. They almost can't lose a 5v5 unless Chovy gives away his life. He walks up. It takes a little while for him to gap close, but once he starts doing damage, needs no introduction. Just how much damage he does. 4 shots to Rakan with just auto attacks. He is monstrously strong.
I have to say that Tarzan has looked brilliant on this Sejuani today as well. Really flawless engages, understanding when to engage as well, moving around the map really nicely. It's been beautiful play from Tarzan again today. Probably won't get the MVP, but that seems to be Tarzan's lot so far in the LCK.
Just a small point I wanted to get to about the choice of a sweeper or blue trinket or yellow trinket against a Teemo comp. As we're going to watch this replay.
That's
ended up being 2 people.
To try and get, Sword out of here. Does use Blade of the Ruin King, desperately wants to turn back. Into Mininar, has to use the flash in order to survive. Remember, Sword actually does have fleet footwork as well this game, which is an odd choice, but a cool one. Give him extra mobility.
For situations where being ganked, it can be important. If you're the team MVP, you want to take sweepers to try to deal with the Teemo shrooms. That means you have less blue trinkets, and you can actually still play a really strong Baron game. Whatever the choice is against Teemo, less sweepers, they step on shrooms. More sweepers, they don't have spot vision. So when it comes to the Baron setup here for Griffin, they kill off the Rift Scuttler. They have already so many shrooms in the area, and you're damned if you do, damned if you don't, if you're MVP.
And look at all these shrooms around the Baron pit as well. MVP understanding that, Griffin understanding that MVP do like to start Barons, and maybe they'll just walk into the pit and die to a Teemo because there's just shrooms all over it. Now Viper's having a pretty good time here now with his 3 items. As we crest the end of the mid-game, moving into the late-game territory now with our main builds basically completed. We've got a Void Staff on the way here for Ian by the looks of things with that blasting one, but Last Whisper's done for Pilot. The Ezreal is getting towards some items, but you just look at the Yasuo and you feel, what is MVP going to do? He's even got a stopwatch there. And Griffin in so much control. 7,000 gold the lead, almost exactly. And, MVP can clear out some vision, clear out some shrooms by running into them. But, it's really hard to get towards this Baron that Griffin on the cusp of starting.
Major problem for the Ezreal here is that you want a good, honest front-to-back team fight. It just never will happen against the team you're against. They've got so many different ways to make a fight dishonest, whether it is those shrooms, as we mentioned. They also have Yasuo Wind Wall to cut down damage. It's very difficult for pilots to get the sort of fight that a Ezreal can profit in. And that is the struggle they have to deal with. They put down some control wards. They now have to go back and refill the control wards just to even have a path to get to something like the Baron. And Viper says, I'd like a blue buff, 40% CDR, and to return to the scene of the crime, which in this case is the Baron.
Yep, he's going to be able to do that easily. Of course, Griffin relinquishing a lot of control so they could give Tarzan a decent back as well. He goes back and finishes off his Warmogs as well as that Gargoyle Stone Plate. He is well and truly sorted out on this Sejuani. And Griffin now going to come back, litter the area with shrooms, continue the frustration here for MVP. They have slowed down as far as their assault on the enemy base is concerned, but Griffin just want to enact this 1-3-1 and continue the pressure.
Ian changed his blue trinket to a sweeper to help out with the sweeping mission. Remember, that means they only have one blue trinket for the spot check.
Well, also, Chovy's in a whole host of trouble. Does get the knock-up, though. Just explodes Max. It's another double. Pilot's going to be taken down. This looks like the ridiculous Yasuo's in your solo queue as he picks up basically 3 kills on his own, and the rest of the team turns up.
Who's ganking who in that case?
Good
1v4.
God.
If he's not CC, he's going to be able to do it. They're tanking out the turret. They don't even give a mundo about this one. Goodbye, turret. They're going to break the base, and ADD says, guys, I came back from the hospital for this.
Yeah, and like, Chovy just made it look like he was smurfing in the LCK. What? We haven't... What? MVP are going to lose their top lane inhibitor turret. The inhibitor going to follow as well, and I have a feeling this game might just be over. Chovy continuing to utilize the gigantic amount of money he has. Stopwatch going to be utilized by ADD, but that's going to delay the inevitable. His health bar evaporates like he's not even a tank. As Max slowed down, not going to get Nard into the wall, but see you later, Nexus and Griffin, a 2-0 over MVP, and